All right, here we are.
This is podcasting without limits.
Podcasting without limits.
Welcome to the Wholesome Music Podcast. My name is Augustus Watkins. I am a musician, a songwriter. I do music PR, and I co-own a record label.
Yes.
Did I say songwriter?
Not yet.
My pronouns are he, she, or they. We are based in Los Angeles.
My name is Cam LJ. You're here with us at Secret Spot DTLA. We're downtown Los Angeles' co-working space for creatives. My pronouns are he, they, she, or really anything you want to call me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We have a really cool episode.
We do. We have kind of a great episode.
I do have to say, I think we've gotten better at this, right?
I think we have. I think it's coming together.
Yeah.
We're finding the sauce. It's coming into a meatball.
Yeah. You motherfuckers better be liking, subscribing, and rating this shit.
Give it 5 stars.
Because we are doing the most.
We're out here.
Yeah.
We're out here.
So we're going to talk about a bunch of artists who are leaving Spotify.
Yes.
I imagine by the time this episode comes out, some more artists will have left Spotify.
They'll be out. They'll be gone.
We're going to talk about whether we should leave Spotify.
Yes, we should.
We're going to leave
I think we will. Maybe we won't.
Maybe we will.
Find
maybe
out.
We won't. Stick around. How some artists are supporting each other as they stand up against the genocide in Gaza.
Yes.
How you can support in some ways. We're going to talk about Young Thug.
Yes.
And the rap act. We're going to talk about a collective building the next Bandcamp. We have an update from Spotify on Superfans.
That's right.
A huge music organization.
Super listeners.
Super listeners. There's a huge organization that you may not have heard of called ONErpm.
ONErpm, and they're not from Russia.
And they're not from Russia. They are a big player in the music world, and I think you should know about them. So we're going to kind of feature them and talk about some of the discussions that the CEO has. Like, he's a really interesting thinker, and this article is really cool.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to talk about fucking AI.
Yes.
We've got an update on YouTube, and there's kind of new stance on AI, but also
all the slop.
We've got a glimmer of light, which is that we're actually going to talk about some useful ways that artists can use AI.
Yes.
Not in a generative way.
In a non-generative way to help you kind of compartmentalize. If you got to wear too many hats, we really should post the meme of all the hats.
So you can find it. So to support your music business goals, so one artist has he's got an interesting Substack, by the way, and this artist has outlined how they use AI to kind of act as a music manager for them.
To support their music management, to not go so crazy when you're trying to do all the things.
As always, we are doing this every single week. Wherever you find us, make sure you are subscribing, following, rating, leaving comments. That really helps us to grow.
Yes, let us know what you want to hear us talk about next. Put it down there in the comments so that we're going to get in, we're going to read it, we're going to see it.
We'll read all the comments. And thank you there have been a few people who have been reaching out on Instagram.
Yes.
Follow us on Instagram. And I swear to God, by the time this is out, we're going to have a TikTok.
We will have a TikTok. There will be a TikTok.
So let's do an episode.
Let's get into it.
Okay. So you've got music on Spotify.
I do have music on Spotify. And you also have music on Spotify.
I've been known to put a few songs out.
To put a few bangers on the old spot.
On the Spotify. So Spotify is really in the news a lot recently because a lot of artists, they're under a lot of heat. Daniel Ek is their CEO. Daniel Ek is the CEO, and he is now the chairman of a weapons...
I think I missed this. Tell me about this.
Oh, okay. I should have
a weapons manufacturing company, giving actual supervillain status.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to hear this.
So he, this is over the last couple of weeks, this has kind of come out. So he's now the chair. I think he's the chair of a weapons manufacturing company.
Okay, which one?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're like, which one? I'm gonna buy some stock.
Let me invest.
Dude, everything he touches is gold.
I want to get in early.
So it's even if I told you, they all have these evil names.
Yeah,
they're like Saber.
Warren Tech.
Yeah. Palantir.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Was it Palantir?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So a lot of artists, because
that would check out though.
Because of this, yeah, it would. Because of this, and because of the AI music thing.
Yes.
I feel like we need a Pee Wee Herman freak out every time we say AI.
AI warning. AI alert.
like we're gonna fucking AI, here we go. But because of I think we talked about a lot of previous episodes, and there's a lot of news, so I think we don't go into like the specifics of it here,
Super
but
gritty details.
Yeah, but basically, a lot of people are really frustrated at how Spotify has been treating artists. Of course, they don't pay.
Yeah.
And so
flooding Spotify with AI music.
Right. And then with AI listens now. So it's like, so a few bands,
which we just think of as bots.
Right. Bots. Yeah, but you're right. It's not AI. That's another thing for another. I do side note. I do think we need to like really delineate what's AI, and what is
like machine learning or
an algorithm or just like a bot.
Yeah,
because there is a fucking difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a really good point. I'm glad you called me out on that. So a couple bands, Shushu, Deerhoof, King Gizzard, and the Wizard Lizard have all recently done this. Of course, Neil Young is pretty famously not on streaming. Joni Mitchell.
Oh, wow.
Is also removed.
Pulling the catalog from Spotify?
Yeah. So artists are pulling their catalog from Spotify. Would you, as an artist, where do you stand on your music being on Spotify today?
So, as you know, you can find my music on Spotify. You can find the music of a lot of the artists that I work with on Spotify.
Yeah.
But, and this is a little bit of a plug, and I don't know if I stand 1000% saying this is the only solution, but I'm working with this company called Soundsplore, and their entire premise is to go sell directly to your fans before you stream. So, and I've heard some people talk about this, but sell before you stream. The concept of selling it before you stream, whether that's like on a platform like Soundsplore that's going to offer you like exclusive releases, or whether it's on your own website and saying, hey, you can, or on Bandcamp. We're a big proponent of Bandcamp here.
Patreon is another place.
But if you put it out, say, a month early for people who are actually going to buy your song,
the so-called super fans,
then maybe a month or 2 months later, just like a movie going to a theater, we don't put it on streaming while it's in the theater. I want you to go buy a ticket in the theater, but like once it's been in the theater for 2, 4, 5 weeks, we see how it's performing. Cool. Then maybe week 5, 6, 7, or week 8, we throw it onto Spotify.
Now it goes on cable with the commercials.
Exactly.
Okay, that's an interesting model.
What do you think?
Well, would you pull your music from Spotify
currently?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fully transparent, I'm not getting that much from it.
Yeah.
But
and you're like bread and butter is not as an artist.
No, but I would say, would I ask an artist that I was working with to pull their content from Spotify? If it was big enough. Yeah. If it was like a big enough concern, if they were making more sales. Yeah. If you're able to drive sales somewhere other than Spotify, yes. Yeah. I would say my personal opinion is like, yes, keep it there for the exposure. But if you're able to start selling, maybe pull things down or only have certain songs on streaming, certain things that maybe like for me, I have the song Juicy. That song makes sense for me to have on streaming, whereas a lot of other songs that I have don't make sense for me to put on streaming because they're not enjoyable. They're made for a different kind of music consumption. It's not just like, yo, hey, this could go in a fun playlist.
Okay. So like at the label that I run, Give Take, the discussion we've had internally at this point is that like any artist who if an artist came to us and said we would like to get off of Spotify, and I think that might come because there are a few artists who are pretty activist driven on our label. We would honor that. So we're like not taking the default stance right now because and this is like a gray area for us at the label because like exposure is part of what we're doing. Yeah, exposure is important, but also like we do have a moral stance. And we do feel like when we started the label, we said we believe music is a sacred art form, and we want to be presenting music as a kind of like as equal to fine art. Yeah. And Spotify like does not follow that mission. No. Also, candidly, like our artists don't we don't have like a Spotify. We've never pursued a Spotify strategy. Some of our artists individually do, but we've never pursued a Spotify strategy because so fucking what? This is an interesting thing to jump into is like streaming strategies. Like for you to make money on streaming, let's be fully transparent. I want you to be able to do like double-digit millions for us to profit on your streaming. And so
for most independent artists, that isn't going to be where they are.
We don't operate at that level. No, like none of our artists really.
Most independent artists won't.
Yeah.
Like most non-major label, or at least without some form of a distribution deal, most independent small artists won't really be able to generate the numbers that they need to make money back from Spotify.
Yeah.
So at that point, we're kind of talking about, is it worth it for you for the accessibility, for your fans to have easy access to your music? Or is it more worth it for you to pursue kind of like a direct to fan sales or a like direct to consumer sale model? But I think what you touched on to begin with is really, really important, is like the ethical aspect. If someone came to me and said, hey, I don't want my song on streaming, I think that's great. I think that's totally fine. I do think like for the discoverability factor, like if your song blew up on TikTok, that's a good time to have your song on streaming. If your song like is having an internet moment, or is having a viral moment, or is having like some kind of new discovery, then I think it makes sense to be on streaming.
Nice to be in those places.
But if it's something that's an established song, you don't really need it to be on streaming, because you're not, people who are going to listen to it already know they want to listen to it. Like that, and I think about these big artists. They were like, I mean, like the Neil Youngs and Joni Mitchells. Right? I mean, King Gizzard is huge too. I mean, where do you get Neil Young's song right now?
I don't know. Probably like a crusty old like 969 Chevy trunk that opens up
back of a CD. A tape, a cassette.
I'm not sure. I imagine you are getting his music probably on other like digital stores, and then
when we pull it off of Spotify, or when particularly Neil Young pulls it off Spotify, is he keeping it on things like Tidal and Apple Music, or is he pulling directly from streaming? So no streaming in
So I can't say about Neil Young, but my understanding is Shoo Shoo, Deerhoof, and King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard are all doing what you said. They're taking it off specifically Spotify, but leaving it at the other streaming services.
So I think that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of hip. I kind of like that. I think we're not going to make an impact with Spotify if we don't all get on board to do things like that. So I think it's cool to see bigger artists taking that step and taking the stand. And I think as independent artists, I don't think it's going to hurt us that much to pull our music off of, say, Spotify in particular, but maintain it on other platforms.
So I want to pivot now, and I want to do something that we kind of, this is a bit of a stunt, but I want to talk about our podcast. And I want to do it live, because I think it's kind of
production meeting
on our production meeting, and I think it's an interesting discussion that to be had, and we might even go over our time limit here at the start. But I want to talk about whether this podcast should be on Spotify. Seriously, like we have not like discussed this prior. I told you we were going to talk about it, but we have
had no prep to talk about this. We haven't run it down. So
I will say, like, to begin with, there is all the moral stance and all the reasons. You know, the fucking EC is an arms dealer. It's all a fucking AI streams, and it's garbage. Like that still underlies the same thing from a podcast perspective that it does a musician perspective.
Absolutely.
So that is active for us. Secondly, we're not a huge podcast.
No, this is a beginning journey. This is the start.
And like on a practical level, the majority of our streams do not come from Spotify.
Okay.
So like, and I think like, that's kind of why I wanted to be transparent about it, because I do think you have to consider that, right?
Yeah.
Like I think this would be a lot harder for me to advocate for this
if that were the primary platform.
Yeah, but it's not. What do you think? Where are you at on this?
I think it's tough. I think especially in the beginning, having multiple channels for discovery is
so
advantageous.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it is a stance, to not be there. And I think, I guess it's the same thing that I would say to an artist. It's like, how accessible do you want the show to be?
Yep.
Versus like, and how much impact do you think people are really going to stand here and be like, hey, fuck yeah, I stand with the Wholesome Music Podcast because they stepped away.
Yeah.
And I think
there are 4 of them.
Yeah, we got a whole handful of people.
The Wholesome Podcast Army stands by us.
It's just 5 of the people in this room.
Like we have all their phone numbers. We know who they are personally.
It's both of our parents.
But I think it's like I think we should really consider it. Like I'm kind of for it. I'm thinking about it. Like I'm for it. Like, I just think, especially like as we grow, just to be like, we don't have a presence there, and there's a reason why we don't have a presence there, and we can always put it back if the circumstances change.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that what Taylor Swift did? Taylor Swift pulled her catalog from Spotify
like 10 years
and then
ago.
Put it back.
Yep.
And then was like, fuck it. I guess I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it. I think that it'd be interesting to see. I mean, let's do it and see how things change. Let's do it and look at the numbers, see how they change. Do a trial period.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's something we can also like talk about too.
Yeah.
Right? Like for like, this is like also like behind the brand kind of stuff. Right? Like, I think like being able to make that stance, because it's like, this is what we stand for. Right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
There's nothing more wholesome than there's nothing less wholesome than fucking war.
Yeah, that's true. No, I think war is really wholesome, honestly.
Big fan of
It's
war.
really, really like peaceful, and it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside to know that bombs are going out and that people are getting annihilated.
Yeah.
You know, that's really heartwarming.
The way I like to fall asleep at night is to think about annihilation.
Isn't it just one bomb, two bombs? And by the third one, I'm totally asleep. Call your air raids.
Yeah, I actually put on the sound of air raid sirens. Some people put on like nature sounds or water sounds.
But there's something so just lulls you into sleep.
I like a good air raid siren. I like a good machine gun. Yeah.
So especially if it has the stutters, you know.
Yeah. I fall asleep in my American flag PJs.
I have a whole flag wrapped around me when I sleep, you know, and one is the bed sheet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I kiss the eagle bust that I have over my bed. And of course, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Every day. And then I thank Daniel Eck for giving me such a great place to be.
Then I clean my guns. So yeah, we're gonna do it. I think we should.
Let's try it. Let's test it out.
Okay, so one thing we'll do is we are ahead in the recording.
Yes,
we are in putting it out. So I think we'll have to kind of finesse that a little bit.
Absolutely.
We'll figure that out off air. I think that'll be a little bit boring. But yeah, we're gonna be, by the time you hear this, we're off Spotify, I would imagine. So,
yeah.
And then we'll take it from there.
And if you really want us back, just leave us a comment. Be like, hey, I really I know, but can you do it?
Yeah.
And then we'll have another conversation.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, I think we got to go back.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about that.
And then let us know where you stand on Spotify. Would you take your music down? Have you taken your music down? What would it take for you to take your music down off of Spotify?
Really quickly. I know this is right at the end.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're wrapping up. But wouldn't it be great if there was some kind of a movement?
Yeah.
So, you know, the way we had No Kings, there was some kind of organized. I think if we're really going to make an impact on Spotify, we do need to have some kind of an organized movement. You know, even as simple as the black squares, you know, we need something for artists to have solidarity. And I think,
yeah, I'd like to look out for that.
That's something I want to keep my eyes out for and see if we can make some motion towards.
Maybe by the time we're putting this out, there will be something like that.
That would be amazing.
We are going to talk later in this episode about a different movement, about artists supporting other artists who are speaking out about Palestine.
Yeah.
So we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that soon.
Come back around and we'll talk about that.
All right. Okay. So we're going to start, as promised, discussing another organization that's doing supporting artists who are speaking out. This is about the situation in Palestine, the genocide in Palestine.
Yes.
So this is from by David Walsh. This is in the the World Socialist website, and that's where we're getting our news from today. On July 17th, the British band Massive Attack announced the formation of an alliance of musicians opposed to the Israeli genocide in Gaza and the systematic efforts by pro-Zionist organizations to suppress criticism of the massive crime. Other artists who indicated support of Ethical Syndicate Palestine include veteran musicians Brian Eno, Kneecap, Fontaines D.C., and Garbage. So Garbage and Fontaines D.C. shared the message about an anti-genocide alliance on Instagram. In their statement, Massive Attack declared, "The scenes in Gaza have moved beyond description. We write as artists who've chosen to use our public platforms to speak out against the genocide occurring there and the role of the UK government in facilitating it." So this is I think kind of a UK
focused article.
And focused organization, because there are a lot of bands. I think some pretty like well-known bands, so they're kind of like getting like having their sets cut short on like broadcasts at like Glastonbury. So like there's real tension right there over there right now. And so this is an organization, and they're calling themselves a syndicate, that are kind of a collective that are there to kind of fight back against that and fight back against censorship.
That's incredible.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's such an interesting story too, using music to share the message and amplify their voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. This is something that artists need to be doing more of, and it's just like seeing this happen.
Yeah,
is really encouraging. Because I think there's a lot of art, it takes art. Is an essential part of any anti-fascist movement.
Yes, it is.
Fascism, part of what fascism is a censorious regime, is a censorious concept, and meaning they want to, like, fascism requires censorship.
Yes, it does.
And fascism is an aesthetic movement as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's fascist art. There's fascist architecture. Of course, the Nazis were famous for having
very iconic fascist symbols and like
iconography.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
that is the word I was searching for.
Fashion.
Yes.
You don't want to know some of your favorite fashion designers, where they got their start. So it's really important right now at this time, I think, for artists of any size to be contributing to contributing to anti-fascism.
Yeah.
Simply by existing and speaking out.
I think like this entire wave of thinking of it maybe from a nationalist perspective, is however artists can use their voice to speak out against fascism and against all of the things that are happening right now. Yep. Yes to all of that.
Anything that we can be doing.
Any piece that we can do to kind of speak out against what's happening, and how to show the reality that we actually want to see versus what we're seeing in front of us.
One thing I've come to realize is it's all one fight. One of the things we talk about is liberation for all, right?
Yes.
So it's the fight. The fight for Palestinian rights, the fight against genocide, is the fight for is the same fight as Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
Is the same fight as resisting ICE.
Yes.
Is the same fight as resisting global capitalism. Is the same fight as resisting tyranny at all levels. Right. I'm not great at listing off all of the conflicts
happening right now.
You can fill in the fucking blanks. Right. We're all aware. And so any sort of place that you can plant your flag and be a part of the fight, when you support, say anti-ICE movements, in a way you are supporting, you are fighting back against the genocide in Gaza. You are.
In a small way. And
because it's all the same fight.
We want to make direct actions, things that whether that's giving to foundations who are going to do something in particular, and then betting those things.
Protesting,
getting out in the street, sharing content to your friends so they're aware and they're educated.
Totally. Especially if you have 10,000 followers, 30,000 followers, it fucking matters. It makes a difference. And because I think,
even if you have 3,000 followers,
for real. And part of it, I think, is also building a coalition of the kind of people who you want to follow you too. If you lose a bunch of followers, fucking good. Why would you want those people in your associating with you anyway? I know we talked, there are financial decisions involved. I don't want to be crass, but fucking good if you lose a bunch of followers because you stand up for the right thing, because my God, this is not the time for mixed messages.
Absolutely.
I want to pivot.
Yes.
Do you know about the RAP Act?
The RAP Act.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. Educate me.
So we started looking at this, I think 10 years ago, and I thought I thought it had passed, but it didn't. So this is from Daniel Tercer via Music Business Worldwide. Music industry-backed Reintroduced RAP Act that would bar lyrics from being used as evidence in U.S. court trials.
Ooh, okay.
Did you catch when Young Thug went to jail?
No, I must have missed this.
Part of his part of the evidence that was used against him was his lyrics.
Oh, interesting.
And they make a really good point. Like, so
this is saying you can't be prosecuted for lyrics.
For your lyrics, right?
I mean,
specifically,
Drake is going to love this.
He's in the article. He does not love this. Somebody said, Representative Johnson, I'm not sure who this is, Freddie Mercury did not confess to having, quote, just killed a man by putting, quote, a gun against his head and pulling the trigger. Bob Marley did not confess to having shot a sheriff, and Johnny Cash did not confess to shooting a man in Reno just to watch him die.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we don't mind using lyrics from rappers.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't think of any particular reason why we would.
That seems like it's not racially based at all.
No.
That doesn't seem like we're trying to fill our prisons.
No, that does not.
No, there must be no correlation.
So this is the Restoring Artistic Protection Act, introduced third, is by Democratic Representative Hank Johnson and California Representative Sidney Comlager Dove. So the issue of using lyrics, particularly rap lyrics, as evidence in trials has been controversial for years. People arguing the practice has targeted black people because of the common practice of describing violent acts in rap lyrics, which are often purely fictional. At least 820 instances of creative works being used as evidence in criminal trials have been found, including Young Thug, who was charged with running a criminal organization under RICO laws. So
I do remember this. Now that you're telling me more about this, I do remember this. Yeah. This was like 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around there. Yeah.
Around that time period.
And I thought it had passed, so I was wrong. I think this is like kind of an easy win.
Mm-hmm. And this happened to a number of other rappers as well.
At least 820 of them.
Yeah.
820 instances.
820, you said?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
820 rappers specifically charged with...
creative works being used as evidence.
Wow.
In criminal trials.
That's crazy.
So the issue also came up in Drake's defamation lawsuit, with Drake's lawyers arguing that the lyrics defamed the rapper and endangered him and his family. So
I don't think that... Okay, that's a really interesting argument because... No.
I mean, look, he says it really well. Like Johnny Cash didn't shoot a man in Reno just to watch him die.
No, and you could make an argument, like in a legal stand, you could be like, well, the song then incited people to come to my house. But that's not the lyrics of the song.
No.
That's the impact of the music that was released.
Yeah.
And that's not directly impacted by the lyrics that were written. That's crazy.
Yeah. So the RIAA, the Recording Industry Association of America, is behind this. And a few other industry organizations. All three of the majors are behind this. So there is some juice behind this. I think you in the audience, you could make a difference. You could reach out to your representative.
Let them know that you care about this.
Yeah. So this is called the RAP Act. I'm not sure, but I imagine you could use 5 Calls app even to. I mean, there's a lot going on, but this is important too. This is about racial justice. So I think that's important.
Oh yeah, I think it's crazy that we can still have you say something in your song and then send you to prison for what you said in a song.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
That's some 20th century shit. That's some 19th century shit.
It's really, really fucked up. And of course it disproportionately
affects people of color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quickly, I want to last week we talked about super listeners.
Yes, we did.
And then in the
super fans, super listeners.
Yeah. And in ensuing week, Spotify, who we've also talked about.
Yes, we did.
Did you catch this? They released
I saw this article.
They released an article kind of about super listeners. So I think we're just going to highlight this real quick.
Absolutely.
On average, super listeners make up just 2% of an artist's monthly listeners, but drive over 18% of monthly streams, account for 50% of an artist's ticket sales from Spotify, and are 9 times more likely to share music with their network than other listeners.
Yes.
More than 50% of an artist's super listeners will be streaming their music 6 months after discovering it. So that just gives us a little clarity about listeners. And then they talked about this article. They talked about the funnel.
Okay.
So you had kind of mentioned we'd mentioned a funnel.
Yeah.
I think this does a really nice job. These professional writers about explaining what a funnel is.
Kind of explaining the funnel.
So I thought we'd just kind of explain what we mean when we talk about a sales funnel.
Jump into it.
There's the growth stage. This is interesting. This is something that I missed. I would think the first person in a funnel would be like somebody who casually listened to you. But Spotify describes the growth stage as potential listeners who haven't even streamed your music.
Yeah.
But they're likely to. So this is like people in the demographic of people who would stream your music.
The people who you're going to target your Facebook ads to.
Yep.
People who aren't fans yet, they're not listeners yet, but maybe they will be. Maybe they like someone who's similar to you.
Yep.
Maybe they like something that you're interested in. Maybe they're in your interest group, or they kind of fit your ideal listener avatar.
Yeah. So then it also includes programmed listeners who have only heard your music through programmed sources like editorial playlists.
Yep.
So this is people who just like press play and music's on in the background. They're not controlling what they're hearing.
Coffee time playlist.
Yeah.
And your song is on the coffee time playlist.
So that's a casual. That's what they're calling
casual listeners
in the growth phase. The reactivation stage is previously active audience who used to stream you intentionally, but haven't in the past 28 days. They just need a nudge to dive back in.
Yeah.
So like someone who's like, they found your song, they put you in a playlist, but now it's buried. So this is like,
threw it in my like songs, found this one song of yours, love it, but haven't listened to it in a long time.
Yeah. And then they call the final stage the engagement stage. They put super listeners in this stage. Your active audience, including light, moderate, and super listeners. They're intentionally streaming your music in the past 28 days and coming back regularly. Super listeners are the most engaged segment within your active audience. So you can think of this as a funnel. For those of you who are watching, I'm going to do something unheard of. I'm going to show you a funnel.
It's a real funnel.
A wide group of people who might hear your shit. And some of them might like it. A slightly beneath that, a slightly more narrow group of people who have heard your music to some degree have fucked with it and engaged with it, but they're not like they might not necessarily know your name, but you might be on. They might know what you're about. And then finally, this engaged listener who knows your name, who's into you, who might be buying merch, might be paying for your shit.
Might be coming to a physical show.
Yeah, might follow you on Instagram, like be a part of your thing.
Like crossover, listen to you on another platform.
Yeah. So I think that's just like a really nice job. I think we did a kind of we kind of glanced over the concept of a funnel, and I wanted to explain that a little more since we had this really nice illustration from Spotify, and I am nothing if not lazy.
I can't relate. Sorry, I'm not lazy at all.
It landed in my inbox, and I thought, wait a minute. So I think when we come back, we're going to talk about some other stuff. We got a couple more AI news things, if you can fucking believe it.
Yeah, I can't believe it at all.
All right, arithmetic has been. Say that again.
If I'm going to get paid 0.05 cents or 0.06 cents, I'll take none of the money.
Right. That meaning you'd rather just fuck being on streaming altogether. It's bullshit, right?
I'd rather just leave my music there and say whatever.
Well, that's
and sell my music directly.
That's been the arithmetic, right? Is I think a lot the streaming services came in, they just devalued, they sucked all the money out of the for artists.
Yeah.
And so then I think a lot of us kind of just did the arithmetic and just went well then fuck it. It's so I either have my music somewhere and someone can hear it, or I have my music nowhere
and no one can hear it.
So that's been I think a lot of people have made we've all unfortunately made that deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be really great if there was somewhere where you could buy the single. Buy it, cash out, not just Bandcamp, not just on iTunes, whatever remains of Amazon Music, where you can still purchase a song wherever that is. I think that should probably be the standard model.
Yeah.
And then you just have the song to listen to forever.
But Bandcamp does this.
Bandcamp does that, yes. And there are other places that do it. It's just less common. It's not the main, and I think maybe albums don't make sense to be on streaming ever. Singles go to streaming.
Yeah.
And you want the album, you gotta buy it. You gotta pay for the album.
Something like one of the things that Bandcamp does is that you can set how many times people can listen to your songs for free. So you can, and I think the default is 3 times.
3 listens.
And then after that, you're
now you like it.
Now you like
now
it.
You obviously listen to it 3 times.
I need you to buy it.
Yeah. Now you need to spend some money if you want to keep hearing my song.
This is a good transition. I wanted to highlight a cooperative called Subvert. Subvert is a cooperative working to build an online marketplace where artists and labels can sell music and merchandise directly to their supporters. They say they're creating a Bandcamp successor that is owned and controlled by its community of artists.
Bandcamp successor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Bandcamp is great, but I think a lot of us are nervous about Bandcamp because they've changed ownership twice in the last, it is many years. they got bought by Epic, and then Epic spun them out, and now they're owned by somebody else. I think a lot of us are really nervous because Bandcamp is so important, and nobody does what Bandcamp does.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of us are really nervous because if Bandcamp fucks their thing up, like a lot of indie artists are gonna be left in the lurch.
I think it's gonna be tough though because Bandcamp has had its hold for so long.
Yeah.
Bandcamp has been around for like decades.
Yeah, and you can tell.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Craigslist situation where you feel the age of the platform, but at the same time,
the app is good. The app is good.
Like, the app's good.
When you like the streaming app for Craigslist, the streaming app for Bandcamp is better.
It's better.
But the artist experience, buying music for the love of God, is terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
I wonder what it would be like to replace that.
Yeah.
Like, short of them releasing an updated version of their platform.
Yeah.
I think it is going to be really hard. Like we were talking a little bit previously about SoundSplore.
Yep.
And they are a new app with kind of a similar proposition.
Yep.
But I think it's really hard for new music apps to gain traction.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think that's a super, super challenge. Even if you have the best, most wholesome intention, I think it's very difficult because I already get my music on Spotify.
Yep.
I already listen on Apple Music. I'm already working through Bandcamp, okay?
Yeah.
Like I don't know why am I going here?
Yeah, yeah. And also it's like you get to this place and it's a graveyard and there's like three artists on there.
Exactly.
And so you have this lock-in with the platforms that you're used to.
And unless you can bring, I think one thing that's helped historically is bringing in mainstream artists.
Yep.
Making exclusive releases for mainstream artists.
Yep.
So if new apps can then say, hey, we have the Taylor Swift songs that are no longer on Spotify or Neil Young songs that are no longer on Spotify on our platform, then you've got a product.
Yeah, I mean,
but I think until then, it's really difficult to gain that traction.
I mean, King Gizzard is an example of a band who has just broken all the rules in terms of like how they distribute their music. So like, it's like, sure, King Gizzard, you make 9 albums a year and you sell it.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
They make
a ton.
I don't know if it's that, but dude, seriously, they're prolific and they're good. And
I have to check them out because I haven't heard.
And they're playing at the Hollywood Bowl coming up.
Really?
And
maybe we have to go.
Maybe we should go. And they also released their music copyright. I'm not sure the exact copyright status, but basically, one of the things as a record label, you can release King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard music legally.
What?
And they're down for it because they're just they were like, just get our music out there.
That's interesting. So like royalty free.
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure the exact legal. So like one of the things that we do at Give Take is sometimes we'll participate in mini disc. The old school, remember like
the mini disc,
not mini CD players, but the actual mini disc. There was kind of a hot thing in like the late 90s,
early 2000s.
Remember the Matrix? Like when Neo in the very beginning when he opens the book and there's those discs, and he gives them to the lady with the white rabbit. That's a mini disc.
That's the mini disc.
So that's still a thriving little subculture that's out there. We participate sometimes. All that's to say, when you participate, when you look in the mini disc community, you will see a lot of King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard releases because mini disc labels are like, let's do this, and we know it'll sell because it's a big band that sells a lot of stuff. So like it's easier for King Gizzard to do this than like somebody else. Of course, the major labels are invested in Spotify. Of course.
Yeah, they're literally getting a share of the profits.
So
literally profit share.
Yeah. So like, and now they're doing it with AI. So like, I want to highlight something. This kind of gets us to a cool article from Music Business Worldwide by Dave Roberts.
Great publication.
An interview, friend of the pod, Music Business Worldwide.
Wait, whose article is this?
Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts.
Yeah, friend of the pod.
Yes.
ONErpm's Emmanuel Zunes. There are no more distribution companies. There are no more record labels. There are just companies providing solutions to creators.
ONErpm is from Russia, correct?
I don't know.
I think ONErpm is PRO in Russia.
No, they're not a PRO.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they're okay. They're like a downtown. They're like a music company.
Interesting.
Founded in 2010 and entirely self-funded, ONErpm is on track to hit around $300 million in gross revenue this year. The company operates in 40-plus territories globally and claims 2.7% worldwide market share on Spotify. They are Spotify's 6th largest partner in terms of stream volume. This is a huge company. They're not a record label. They're not a record label. They count themselves also among YouTube's largest music partners, generating over 23 billion monthly views, and have garnered 150 plus Grammy and Latin Grammy nominations since 2017 with 25 wins. So this is a huge player. And I want to just kind of give some quotes. You'll see why we pivoted. I want to give some quotes from this is an interview with their CEO, Emmanuel Zunes. It is difficult, quote, it's difficult to compete when companies, either those with private equity funding or the majors, are willing to sacrifice long-term sustainability in exchange for short-term market share growth.
Yes.
This is kind of what we talked about.
Yeah.
It's like going back to like the Spotify discussion. It's like, well, like we have to decide like discoverability. And for us, it's like we could have made that choice of like the short-term discoverability thing, or the long-term just being like, we're going to grow outside of Spotify, and we choose to do that because of some particular reason. In this case, it's ethics. Continuing to quote, Downtown, which we talked about last week. Downtown Music is an example of a company that accepted a lot of investment money while ramping up market share via deals I suspect I wouldn't do. I think there's a lack of innovation right now in established markets like the US, both on the label side and the digital platform side. Music's in a rut from an innovation standpoint. This is why I wanted to get to this. The growth that we had hoped to get from platforms like Meta and ByteDance, which is TikTok, didn't really plan out. They're just not paying very much. But I think there will be more innovation soon, especially in the direct-to-consumer era.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's really figured that out yet, and we agree with that.
Yeah.
I think we figured it out from the indie perspective. I think Bandcamp has really shown that you can do it.
You can do it.
I just think that nobody's really figured it. You know, Patreon and some of the other things we mentioned.
But it still feels kind of like a piecemeal solution.
Yeah. And it's not supported by the majors, and that's the big difference. Direct to fan platforms. Thank you. Direct to fan platforms or apps that coincide with streaming, YouTube, and live shows could surge consumption and monetization. Those are the quotes that I pulled from him. Interesting. I had not heard of this company. Did you?
So I've heard of ONErpm. I had a misconception. I thought I knew more about them, but actually I didn't. I know I've worked with somebody who had a contract with ONErpm and had to get released from the contract.
Okay.
But that's the depth of my workings with them.
So I think it's really interesting because they operate as a label, they operate as distribution, they operate as like...
Do they operate as like a collective management or like...
They operate as management.
Yeah.
They're basically like what... I loved what he said. There are no more distribution companies. There are no more record labels. There are just companies providing solutions to creators.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this last week too, right? Like tearing down the walls between management and labels.
Management and development and kind of making it one homogenous area.
Or at least reorganizing the old rules because like clearly the old rules don't work anymore.
No.
We talk about this a lot. At our record label too. Like, we're like, so we do these indie music releases, but like our artists need a lot of management support.
Yes, they do.
And the things we haven't been comfortable providing that support because then we're double dipping, right? Because we don't want to do the work of management and then take the 10% manager fee, and we're also taking some cut of their as their label. And so we've been really hesitant to
do that. It's almost something you want to outsource.
Yeah. But this organization is really taking a different approach. They're just saying we provide services to artists, and I think Downtown was kind of the same way too.
That's kind of how we function when we help an individual artist. Is like we are doing like a holistic approach. So we're doing development. We're helping you get distribution. We're helping you pretty much in a 360 way without taking ownership in a 360 way.
Yeah.
We're essentially non-exclusively supporting you in the same way a label would support you, giving you development assistance, giving you distribution assistance, giving you booking assistance, even when we're doing it from a referral way. We're not specifically contacting each venue and getting you the gig. We're just supporting you, saying, hey, this is something that we see. You might be a good fit for this. Jump in there.
I mean, that's something that a manager would do.
Yeah.
I want to go back. I'm looking at our old show notes because we talked about this this reminds me of the discussion with Yancey Strickler, the founder and co-starter of the Artist Corporation, the A Corp.
That's so exciting to me.
Episode 6 we talked about.
Yes.
So there's a lot of energy right now out there about And I think, Zunes has a really good point. Like, nobody's really cracked it yet.
No.
But, like Gabby's company,
the Gray administration.
Soundsplorer.
Soundsplorer, yes.
Soundsplorer is one of the players in this. We talked about the one from, what did we just say here? Subvert.
Subvert, absolutely.
So, like, yeah, there's energy around this.
Just clarify this for me, kind of sum this up again. What would be the best solution to you? What would you like to see? Best case scenario.
I do think the thing is, I don't know that I know.
Okay.
I think that we need to get away from a streaming model.
Away from the streaming model.
Yeah.
What else would this fictional platform provide?
The thing
streaming.
Streaming, but in the way that you talked about, the direct to consumer model.
Yeah.
With major label support.
Okay.
Ideally, the company is not owned by a fucking arms dealer.
Yeah, that would be great.
Or I do like the idea of some artist cooperative. I mean,
kind of like a title, but better.
I mean, I didn't put this in the list, but I caught. Can you think of the pop punk band that's going on tour right now that's kind of blowing up?
New or old?
They're old, but they're doing
Paramore?
They're doing these older. They're doing these a reunion tour. If it comes to me, I'll say it. So they're going on tour, and I caught an interview with him. The singer, and he talked about how he's like he made a really good point. He's like, I mean, the record label has always been an extractive entity.
Yeah,
it's always shown up to have capital to provide to starving artists, to give them just enough to feel like they're willing to give their songs away, turn around, make a shitload of profit on that, and then discard the artist for the next one.
And then rinse and repeat.
So I do think we do need a music industry that is divorced from that extractive, frankly colonialist model. I
mean, the problem with doing that is, how are you going to create a business that doesn't extract from the artist? I think that's where what we're getting to is, like, obviously, if you are starting a label, if you're a large major, if you're a major, if you're a major business, or if you're just a major investor is the word I'm looking for. How can you profit on artists in an ethical way that isn't extractive?
All American Rejects, by the way, was the name of that company.
Oh, All American Rejects. Yeah. First band I saw live.
Oh, shit.
Like, as an adult.
Yeah.
Yes. 18 years old.
So how can we come back to your question?
Yes.
How can we come up with a way that isn't as extractive? Well, I think this artist corporation, this A Corp model that we talked about in episode 6 is one of the ways where you as the artist and the creative entity, you maintain ownership of your work, and then you can sell shares of your work
back to your audience.
Including to the audience, but back to investors.
Yes.
So they don't own it and then give you a piece. You own it, and they're allowed to invest in your entity the same way a
company
could come in and invest in your company.
Exactly.
So, but you are still the one who owns the company.
You still own the company. You just have some shares out there.
Yeah. So I do think we're beginning to see some industry players really kind of gel around some interesting
artist
ideas.
Equity is such a cool concept.
Yeah.
I want to see where that goes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
God, you smell good.
Thank you. This is Paris Hilton. It's the Paris Hilton clone.
I mean, I wish you all could smell how nice Cameron smells right now off this Paris Hilton clone.
Shout out Paris Hilton, man.
Yeah. Real
OG
friend of
classic.
Real friend of the podcast. Can you believe that we are going to have another discussion about
AI?
Yeah.
I can. I absolutely can. AI is it's everywhere. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do other than let it take over?
Pluto's in Aquarius, y'all. First, we're going to talk about...
And Mercury's in retrograde.
Yes, it is. So
both.
So shit's going... By the time this episode is out, Mercury will have left retrograde.
Yes.
But Pluto will still be in Aquarius.
So we still got all that.
We're going to talk about a company called... Sorry, not a company. Yeah, I think they're a company. They're called Humanable.
Humanable?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not familiar.
We'll put a link, of course, in the description, as we always do. Certified non-generative AI.
Okay.
So I got this article because they are partnering with Symphonic, which is one of the big public distributor companies that are out there that you like a
big DSP like DistroKid or Lander or any of your other DSPs.
Becoming a Humanable member allows you to utilize our next generation platform to certify your music as, quote, made by humans. Membership is $6.95 a month. You will verify that your music is fully human and use the Humanable trade logo To promote your Humanable certified music, our system will issue you a license to use our trademarks for your songs, blah, blah, blah. The marks will let fans know that your music is human created, not robot music.
So what are they doing other than providing the stamp?
They're very vague here about what they call a next generation platform.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's self-certification. I would hope that they're doing some kind of AI, because I think you can detect AI music. Unlike AI writing, you can detect AI generated music.
Yeah, I think so.
So I imagine they're doing some kind of verification of AI generated music. I don't know. I'm not going to pay $7 a month to do this.
No.
But it's interesting.
It's a cool concept. Yeah. And I mean, it almost makes you wonder, like, will there have to be a certification site where, hey, I made this without AI? And if so, is Humanable that place?
Yeah.
Will that be, we've seen so many first movers lose that first mover advantage. You think of people like BlackBerry. You think of people like, there are so many examples in the space of people who got there first. They were there doing it. And over time, the market shifted. Another company came in, and they became the Kleenex. They became the Gorilla Glue. They became the
iPhone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I could see the majors just kind of doing this themselves.
Yeah.
Just being like, we're just going to start, or buying a company like Humanable.
Buying them, saying, oh, this is ours now.
Yeah. This is a little revenue stream if the indies want to use it, but we're just going to use this for ourselves to certify it. It's interesting, though.
It brings up a really interesting discussion of, will you need to certify your music as human made in the future?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you believe like we need to be certifying human made music as human made?
I do. I think there's even this next article we're going to talk about even talks about you may, if this trend continues, we may see users begin to flee streaming platforms because of the
AI slop.
And I do think I think content with flaws might be a kind of badge of honor, a kind of like I think having flaws is going to show an element of humanity that, you know, obviously flawless AI isn't. So I think I think the presence of Humanable is a demonstration, and the fact that Symphonic, which is a big distributor, is partnering with them, is partnering with them, I think shows that we're beginning to see a backlash, we're beginning to see a movement, and I think one of the things it shows is also that people are beginning to go, hey, we can make some money off of this. Yeah. Because this could have been like a
free service,
or like with Creative Commons kind of thing, where they could have just like done the legal work to create this framework and then given it, but they're like, no, you can pay us $7 a month for our next generation platform or whatever. So I do think it also shows that like there's AI,
desire to capitalize.
Yeah, AI is here at such a level that even anti-AI can be a form of grift.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to me.
I mean, is this something that you want to send your artists through? Is this something that in the future you'll say, hey, make sure you send it through Humanable?
I really could see that happening.
Yeah, that's interesting. I could. That's an interesting thing. I don't know how I feel about that. Like I guess it's just a sign of the times that so much content is AI, so much of the pool is AI that we're going to need to timestamp and need to stamp it down and say, no, this was created by a person and it's verified here.
Yeah, and to prove it somehow. It's really, really interesting.
God, that's depressing.
I know.
Oh, God. Oh.
I do want to say one other thing about the anti-AI trend that isn't in the articles, but I think is something that you and I deal with every week at Oxford Open Mic.
Yeah.
Every week at Open Mic, I'm sure some of this music has been AI generated. That we hear. But what you cannot fucking replicate, and you can never AI generate. Well, I shouldn't say never, but you can AI generate is the fucking human-to-human connection.
Yes.
Like the human connection that happens in this room.
Yes,
every week
one-to-one
at the open mic, and the one-to-many, and like the vibes that happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's something I do think, along with this, like, we're going to ask for fewer flaws, or sorry, we're going to ask for more flaws in our content.
Yep.
I think like how off the cuff TikTok is another demonstrator of that. I think we're going to have a return to in-person IRL events.
Yeah,
because it's going to be one of the only ways that you're going to be able to prove anymore that what you experienced was real.
Yeah.
It used to say, we used to say, there was the quote online, if you were hyper online, Pixar didn't happen.
Yes, exactly. It's not real.
Yeah, but now pics and video are bullshit.
Can be faked.
Yeah,
can just be made up.
Speaking of fakes, it looks like YouTube is getting serious about eliminating AI slop.
I've been seeing this.
Yeah, so this is
talk to me about this.
Music3.0.com. I'm sorry, I forgot to take right your. Oh, there, Bobby Owsinski for Music 3.0 blog. His blog, AI generated content known as quote AI slop is seriously boring and beginning to clog up the internet. and pushing out content created by humans as sometimes recommendation engines can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
If this continues, you may see users begin to flee existing streaming and social platforms in search of true, authentic content. In fact, content with flaws may soon become a sort of badge of honor for creators.
Well, let's talk about YouTube Shorts for a second, really quickly here. YouTube Shorts is an area that is getting flooded with AI slop.
On July 15th of 2025, YouTube has updated their policy to clarify and improve their guidelines to better identify mass-produced and repetitious content. So that Google's trying to crack down on this.
Yeah. Well, I think they need to, because if you go into YouTube Shorts, at least right now, and it's like the end of July in 2025, it's just every other video is AI.
Yeah.
And it isn't like great AI or interesting uses of AI. I think one thing that's interesting about AI is like you can create a great video essay with AI.
Yeah.
And when I say great, hey, you can create it and it's passable.
Yeah.
It's watchable. And I think you're deeply into astrology as I am. There's a lot of AI astrology.
Oh, that's rough.
That's crazy.
That's rough.
But you go and you look, and it is everything that a Capricorn would need in 2025.
Yeah.
It's incredibly interesting to see how much content is just flooded from AI, because you can click generate, and versus you and I sitting down. You have to sit down, talk, speak, research, understand what you're going to talk about, edit, and then upload. But where you could essentially prompt out exactly what you want to say.
Yeah.
Click, and then upload, and you're done.
So,
and clip.
In clip. So here's what's it. Yeah, and clip. Yeah, just ripping bombs and making clips.
That's the truth.
That's on our Instagram. Here's an interesting angle on this though from old Owsinski.
Yes.
Friend of the pod.
Absolutely.
Google is using YouTube videos to train its Gemini AI.
Oh, interesting.
And its advanced video generation model will soon be available for people to use in their YouTube Shorts videos. So the message here seems to be, don't upload AI videos because it's not great training material.
For AI?
Yeah. But if you choose to do it anyway, then use our video generator.
You know, this is something, are you familiar with the dead internet theory?
Oh, yeah.
I think this is the real dead internet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the real death of the internet will be so much AI that AI feeds on itself.
Yeah.
And then all we get is degraded AI more and more, and it just gets worse as more content is less not human made, is all not original content, and then is refed into AI, and it becomes a slop fest.
This is the logical conclusion to the proliferation of AI.
Yes.
It's just AI training AI. And which is, I think, goes back to, again, what we're talking about, like why flaws are going to be important and why in real life things are going to become just vital for us to thrive as a society.
And this is one of the big advantages of Google Gemini, or Google's entire base, is that they have YouTube to train from. They have all of this data. Like one thing I remember when they started launching Gemini, Google Gemini, was that it would read your emails, that unless you opted out of it would automatically read your emails and base what its suggestions were on base,
your communication style.
Exactly. Yeah. But not just that, like find out like, oh, hey, I noticed you also like a certain kind of cereal that you've ordered, or something that you've ordered and you got a confirmed order. Anything that's in your email, it's going to base on, and it's going to be the most, they're calling it the most personalized AI, which I think is creepy.
Freaky.
Yeah.
Did you turn it off, or you use
No, I haven't. Come on, be personalized to me. You got to know me specifically.
Are you finding it convenient?
I find that each of the AI systems has different advantages. I think Google Gemini is at least the most up to date. Like if you need things that happened in the last week, Gemini seems to have the most up to date and the best ability to then give you the sources. So if you're asking Google Gemini for something, it's the most likely to give you a list of 6 links of where it found it. Where I feel like OpenAI ChatGPT is great for like, hey, I'm brainstorming this idea. Give me 6 places that would align with my idea. Like I'll use it all the time when I'm researching hotels and apartments and other places that I'm trying to get a whole list of. Give me 10 hotels in downtown Los Angeles, or give me.
You mean you're using Gemini for that?
Yeah, I'm using Gemini or ChatGPT to aggregate that data.
This is such a good pivot. We're so fucking good at this now.
Yes, we are.
Here's how musicians can do that sort of thing.
Yes.
This is an article on Substack by a person named Music Ben. The name of the article is "I created a music manager with AI. Here's how." So we're gonna I'm gonna brief. It's a cool article if you're interested in this. The setup is very good for planning rollouts, big picture strategy around your music goals, research and finding contracts, and creative ideas and inspiration. It's not good enough yet for execution, including outreach or publishing your content, or tracking social trends.
Yeah.
No.
AI has not become, I would say if you are looking for that kind of data, Gemini is going to be the best currently.
Yeah.
For like, hey, what are the 5 biggest topics on YouTube? But you're still better off with something like a vidIQ or an actual like Google Analytics. Those are all going to give you better data as to what's trending now than trying to go through that through AI.
So one of the things that he emphasizes, I assume it's Ben emphasizes, is that you need to give it a ton of personal context and metrics about you. So pay attention to steps 1 and 2, which he outlines in the guides. But he's saying, don't
let it read your emails.
Well, yeah. I think they call this like a workspace is the way the feature works in ChatGPT. So he's saying like just you feed it like all of your data, and then you're really specific in how you set it up to be your manager. Yeah. And then it's not executing, it's not writing emails for you. No. But it's going
to give you a list of steps.
Yeah, it's setting things up for you. I thought this was interesting because we do talk a lot about generative AI.
Yeah.
And here's somebody out there kind of just saying like, well, you don't have to use it for generative AI. You can use it to kind of like fill in the gaps because you are asked to be your own manager now.
Of course.
So getting a little bit of like lift from those tools.
I think, we do strategic development consultations here. And that's kind of a similar space where we're going to sit down with you, create a custom checklist for you of the steps you need to make. Yeah. And I think that kind of a task-based use for AI makes sense.
So I just put you out of a job because now.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Go fuck yourself. No, I do think it's a really good use. I do think one-on-one human interaction is always going to customize that even more. Yeah. But I do think, on the other hand, if you can feed it everything about you, maybe you forgot to tell the person that you're working with one-on-one. Yeah. Something that can just be scraped.
Yeah. And we always talk about supplementing real life with LLMs and using it for, so this is an interesting use case for using it for not for making music, but for all the other fucking busy work that comes along with being an artist. So we'll put a link to that.
Absolutely. This is great.
Yeah, this is kind of like us just like for once not just like
dogging on AI. Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, things there's some growth and some improvement and some change.
Positivity. Yeah. A little ray of sunshine in your AI life.
So that's it for us. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe.
Find us in the description. We got show notes down there. And find us on Instagram.
Find it
and maybe TikTok.
And definitely not
Spotify.